You ready for me?
No, we haven't started our meeting yet. We're just trying to get you hooked up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. We're live, we're ready. We'll call the meeting to order for the Upson County Board of Commissioners for Tuesday, March 9th. If you would at this time, please rise for invocation. It's my turn. Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we ask for your blessings on this community and for all those who serve this community in every facet. We ask for your blessings on our country, our state, and our community. These things we ask in your name. Amen. Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, first on the agenda is our public hearing.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Before you get started, may I, the staff would like to request a very, very brief executive session for the purposes of discussing one real estate item.
Okay.
If we may.
Okay. Is there a
Motion to approve the
executive session to amend the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Okay, so we're going to amend the agenda to add an executive session for real estate. Okay, first on the agenda is a public hearing, and Jason, do I need to read all this, or should I, or just turn it over to Jenny?
If you just want to grab those first two sentences, and I'll take it from there.
Okay. All right. I guess we need to open the public hearing. Well, we'll read this and then open the public hearing, or will it be up to Jenny? Upson County is considering applying for the Georgia Department of Community Affairs for a community development block grant up to $750,000. These funds must be used to primarily benefit low and moderate income persons.
Mr. Chairman, so the reason for the dual public hearings tonight, both are related to the county's desire to submit a Cdbg, or Community Development Block Grant, for the purposes of rehabbing our what we call our Thurston well as our main and only water source. So it is our intention to make a case to the federal government that project will go to help low and moderate income people in that area maintain a potable water source. So as a part of this process, we not only have to have a public hearing so that people can provide us input and feedback on our desire to make the application for this project. The other public hearing is related to our need to amend the work plan in our official state comprehensive plan, and we need to add that item to the work list. So with that little bit of clarity added, if I may, recommend that we turn it over to our grant writer and planner from Three Rivers Regional Commission, Gene Brantley.
Okay, and then after that, we'll actually open the hearing.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, the floor is yours. How are you doing? Good to see you again.
I'm great. Good seeing you. I'm great. Thank you. Again, as Jason stated, I am Jeannie Brantley. I'm the planning director with Three Rivers Regional Commission, and we will be assisting you in this project. I'm going to go through a couple of things that we need to discuss as it relates to Cdbg, and then I'll see if anyone has any questions or any input. Of course, as Jason stated, Upson County is interested in making application for a community development block grant, which is provided through HUD and administered through the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. the primary objective of the CDBG is the development of viable communities through improvement of living conditions, housing, and the expansion of economic development opportunities in cities and counties, principally for persons of low and moderate incomes. All CDBG funding applications must meet a national objective as required by HUD. And those three objectives are low to moderate income benefit, which means that the benefits are available to all residents in a particular area where at least 51% of them are low to moderate income persons. And the way we determine this is through the completion of a survey of the target area. The other objective is slum and blight. And this involves activities which aid in the prevention or elimination of slum and blight, or blight. The third objective is urgent need, and that involves a recent activity that has posed a serious and immediate threat to the health and welfare of the community, where the government is unable to finance the project on its own. The activities that are eligible for CDBG includes public facilities and improvements, community facilities, housing, economic development, and you can also pay for engineering and architectural plans, as well as environmental review records. The maximum grant amount for CDBG is $750,000 for a single activity project and $1 million for a multi-activity project. If you're going to engage in a project that causes some displacement of local residents, then of course you have to make provisions utilizing the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970. I do not believe that Upson County has any outstanding CDBG projects, and you should be in good standing with DCA as it relates to that. The CDBG grant application deadline is June 4th, 2021. Applications are due to DCA on this date. There's a new application process where everything is electronic now, so it will be submitted electronically. The successful applicants, the applications should be awarded on or about October, November of 2021. And the successful applicants will have 24 months to expend the funds and complete project-related activities. At this time, I'll ask for any citizen comments on the use of CDBG funds.
We haven't opened up public.
Right, yeah, that was what was confusing me. So, we have two public hearings.
Correct.
So at this point, so Jenny, at this point, we need to open our public hearing and then ask for comments. So,
Yes, sir.
so at this point, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
So basically all in favor. Public hearing is now open. So are there any comments regarding this project?
We really need that grant in Lincoln Park.
Need what now?
That grant, the project, some of the money, to do work on the houses out there.
Okay. All right. So you understand that this grant right here is for water.
Water.
Yes, ma'am. That's what the purpose of this one is.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify that for you. Anything
If
else?
they have,
Yes,
If they
ma'am.
have comments or suggestions on other projects, they can make those as well.
Okay. So what in particular with Lincoln Park?
Housing and the roads are terrible. Got a lot of low income.
What's your name, ma'am?
Brenda Prater,
Okay. And your address?
2035 Wiley Street.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Ma'am, you have anything you'd like to say? Okay, all right. Okay, so there being no other comments, we'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, Jeannie.
Okay? The second part, in order to make application for CDBG funds for a given project, DCA will review your comprehensive plan to see that you're making the proper provisions to apply for projects that you have made plans for. So this project specifically that we're considering, the Thurston Well Replacement Project, was not in the community work program of your comprehensive plan that was adopted back in 2018. What we have to do in order to add that project to your community work program is to pass a resolution. I provided you with the resolution. You'll make that amendment. You'll have the public hearing, which is what we're doing now. You'll submit those documents to Three Rivers, and we will submit those to DCA for inclusion in your plan. They probably will not send you an updated QLG letter or anything, but they will have this information, and I ask that you maintain a copy of all of this, including your approved resolution for your files for any future references.
Okay, so at this point, we need to open the public hearing to modify our comp plan to add this project to that. So is there a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So that this hearing is now open for any comments regarding adding the Thurston Well rehab project to our community comp plan. Is there any comments? Okay, so we have no comments. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? This public hearing is now closed. So Jenny, I have a question here. We have this resolution. We don't have it on our agenda to.
It has to go on our agenda for next time.
Right. I just noticed that it was dated for today. So we will take this for action at our next meeting.
Okay, sounds great.
That's not going to hold you up or anything.
No, that will not.
Okay.
Mr.
Jason?
Chairman, may I ask Jeannie a question while
Absolutely.
she's still with us? Jeannie, you said QLG, so it doesn't affect our qualified local government status in any way, what we're doing now, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, when you submit your plan to DCA, they'll send you a letter that your QLG has been extended. So this will not. You probably won't receive anything from them.
Okay.
They've got some new staff, so I'm saying you won't. But so you probably won't receive anything from them. They'll note that they may send us something to confirm that they did receive your update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, does that take care of that business?
That's all I have.
All right. Well, thank you for your time and appreciate the work you're going to do for us.
Right, you're welcome.
And currently do for us. So, all right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll move along. Next on the agenda are public comments. This is an opportunity to, did you have any submitted? And we don't have anyone signed up, so no public comments. Next is the consent agenda. You'll see that on the consent is the February 23rd regular meeting minutes, the approval of the splosh funds for the sheriff's vehicles, and in case someone asks in the media, we can get that number to them. The approval of splosh funds to re-roof the pool, and approval of the broadband ready ordinance. All these were items that were discussed at our work session. Is there a motion on the consent?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Jessica?
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. All right, moving right along. New business. We have the second reading and consideration to approve the telecommunication ordinance. And Mr. Curry, I'm assuming that's why you're patiently waiting.
Yes, sir. After your last meeting and then your subsequent workshop, we did readdress the ordinance in some very limited ways. I'm prepared to go over the red lines or the red highlighted language in the ordinance, or we can just discuss the fact the major changes, policy changes were the special exception in the AR zoning was elevated from 35-foot tall towers to 75-foot towers. And then basically, it was made very clear that all towers have to be permitted. That was not as clear as it is now in the language. Those were the substantive changes from the last few meetings you've had. Like I said, if you want to go over the other changes, which are relatively minor, just making sure that things are coordinated and have the proper language. But those were the two major changes specifically coming from the workshop.
Okay. So gentlemen, you see the changes were made. Are there any questions from Mr. Curry? Is there a motion regarding this telecommunications ordinance?
We had to read it again.
No.
Make a motion, we approve the ordinances revised from Mr. Curry.
I have a motion from Commissioner Jones. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilder. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Jones.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. And as always, pass along our heartfelt appreciation to everyone who worked on this, and our folks on the Planning Commission.
Yes, sir.
And appreciate your patience in dealing with us on this.
It took them a while to get this to you, so.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's called progress. So, so at this point, what we'll do then is we'll go ahead and do comments, and that way we can come back in the executive session, and we don't have anything to vote on when we come back. So, Mr. Tinsley.
Mr. Chairman, I have 5 quick items. Item number 1, just a reminder that the county clerk had proposed a date and time for us to have our initial SPLOST kickoff meeting with City of Thomaston and City of Gatesville, which was proposed for Tuesday, March 30 at 6 p.m. I think we had a few responses from commissioners to the affirmative, but not entirely. So I just wanted to make sure that that stayed on everyone's radar. Once we get that locked down for sure, the clerk is going to have to send official communication basically from the board to those cities to comply with the state code for that. Second, one of the next steps in the Cdbg grant submission process is going to require us to do an official RFP for engineering services on that project. It's required by federal law. We're working with Jeannie and some of the other staff at the regional commission to get the language for that RFP. So we will have to get that out fairly soon. It requires us to solicit at least 10 firms directly. We'll also include it on the Georgia procurement website, and as soon as I have a copy of the criteria and how we're going to evaluate those, I'll let you know. But it is a process that's required for us to move forward. We can't just use the engineer that we have in-house, because the procurement process we used for them was older than 2 years old. So that's a compliance issue that's coming soon. Item number 3 I've discussed, I think, with just a few commissioners, but while we're all together, we do currently have a water leak under US 19. It's a small service line. It was hit by the contractor doing the work for GDOT originally, and patched and fixed, but it's subsequently sprung a leak again. We're coordinating with GDOT and teaming up with them to get this resolved, but it is 4 feet under the highway, and it's going to require some pretty heavy coordination on traffic control and lane closure. So we are working that issue. But we're both responsible for it. The county's responsible for it in the way that it wasn't flagged on the locate, and it wasn't in the plans. So it's understandable that the contractor hit it. So we're going to actually cap it, and then at a later time, GDOT's contractor is going to bore a new service line for us. It's for a meter on the other side of the road that's not currently in use, so it doesn't put anyone in an outage situation. I'll have more details on that once we get our plans firmed up with GDOT. Item number 4, we are the panel that we put together to review the RFP submissions for the ordinance revision and planning services. That group has selected 2 firms and will be participating in in 2 presentations from those top 2 firms with question and answer periods and review. That'll be in person in this room. So our panel will convene Thursday, I think 1 at 11 and 1 at 2, to do face-to-face interviews with those 2 firms, and we hope to have a clear decision after that, so we can move forward with some of our ordinance rewrites. As the chairman had gave me a friendly reminder that we're quickly approaching the deadline for our moratorium, and this is top of mind with us as well, and we hope to have a firm on board with us by hopefully next week sometime. And item number 5 will probably transition into some of the chairman's comments, but as a result of our visit to the Andrews Chapel School, after that meeting, and we had our site visit, I went back to our archives director and asked her for some input based on the input that I was gathered from y'all, and we have reached out to what's called the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation to see if they'd be interested in acquiring this property from us. We obviously we don't know what their level of interest would be, but she's pursuing that. And as she told me earlier today, that they're the ones that own and or have some sort of easement onto the Weaver Dallas house on Bethel Street. So it's the same group. So our hope is that they might find some interest, and we might be able to give the board one more option as far as what the long-term plan would be for that facility. So that's something staff is exploring. We don't have any feedback from this Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation yet, but just wanted to let you know that's just one more avenue the staff's looking at, so the board would have as many options as possible. And that concludes my remarks, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Jones, you got anything for us?
I don't.
All right. Mr. English?
No comment, thank you.
Mr. Ellington?
Just like to follow up on one thing you said about the water leak. When we put something down in writing, communication, that we, oftentimes we get ourselves in a situation like this one, when something is delayed. If it's forgotten about. And then, you know, a couple years down the road, somebody needs to hook up that meter, and then taxpayers on the board for getting that board on the road out there. Have we got a follow-up plan for that, or?
We have it in the email from GDOT, so.
We've got stuff in emails from GDOT before.
We don't,
I just, we really need to have Garrett stay on top of that. You know, obviously, is it new pavement that's gonna have to be torn up?
No, thank goodness. Well, there's leveling, but no new pavement on it, so it's gonna have to be repatched and then.
Okay.
But I would also offer that to you, Commissioner Ellington, and to the rest of the board, that that's a sign of things to come.
Right, and well, you know, we might have to pay for the other ones, but we didn't do this one, so we need to make sure whoever damaged it pays for it. I just like to make sure we got a plan to follow up on that. You know, we do have, I would like to say we do have it is this weekend, a community trash pickup. We'll be meeting, Jennifer Rogers is hosting this, and we start out at, Matthews Field, like always. So if you got some time on Saturday and you want to go out and help clean up your community, we'd love to have you there. I plan on being there. I'm gonna pick up a little trash on Saturday, and then I'm gonna go spend the rest of my day working in my yard if it's nice. But I encourage people, if you can, hey, it's great exercise. Great exercise, so you know, instead of going to the gym Saturday morning, come on out and grab your couple trash bags and some gloves, and make your community look nice while you're exercising. That's really all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilder?
I just want to comment on the trash pick, but it is a great way to get exercise, and in some places you get a lot of exercise.
Or not much, because you aren't walking very
That's
far.
right. But one of the things I want to do, I want to make a plea to the drivers and in the neighborhood, in the community, to take a little more pride in your neighborhood and not throw all the trash out as you travel the street. Wait till you get to a place that has a trash container, or to get home, or a service station. But please do not continue to throw it. The place is looking good now, but it's difficult to keep it looking good, and it's difficult to continue to get volunteers to go out and pick up trash, and then the very next day or shortly thereafter, you see bags of trash laying on the ground all over again. It's just it's kind of discouraging, hard to understand, and I just do want to encourage folks to take a little pride in their neighborhood and keep the trash in the car till they get to a suitable place to empty the garbage. That's all I have.
Mr. Jones?
Don't have everything.
I don't have anything either.
Okay. Well, you know I always have a couple things. I just write them down. If you go to the Bluff website, there's a couple of events that are coming up. There's a walk/run/marathon down there in, I think, 2 weeks. It's a good event. Obviously, I didn't do the marathon, but we did the walk. And the walk is challenging, but it's a good day. So hopefully we'll have good weather for that. They have a thing with wildflower. They have somebody that will narrate, what kind of flowers that you're seeing as you do this walk, and then they've got something with Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Go to the Bluff website for information, and you can register there. We had our Tuesday COVID call. I'll just update everybody. Our numbers continue to remain about the same, which is good. The thing that I think is a challenge for us now, and this is really a good problem to have, is both the Nikki at the Board of Health, the health department, and Jeff at the hospital. The problem has shifted. When we first started doing vaccinations, you had to wait and get through the line to get an appointment. So the problem's now that there's not enough people to keep them busy. So I encourage everybody who's here or watching, if you are eligible, please make the call and get your vaccine. They're waiting on you. We don't know when the next group will be entered. We were told today that they're not going to call it phases anymore. They're going to just open it up for the next group that they deem necessary to get in there. Don't know what that'll be or when it will be, but it's a problem to have vaccine and not have arms to put it in. So if you know of people out there, please encourage them. If they didn't get the vaccine because they were frustrated because they couldn't get through, that problem should not be occurring anymore. They're ready for you. The vaccination campaign at the schools went really well yesterday. And I think it was like 250 staff and educators were vaccinated. So hopefully more will follow as this goes on. And speaking of schools, for everybody watching, on behalf of the board, we want to congratulate the UL Knights girls basketball team for a tremendous season. And we've got one heck of a program going on over there, both boys and girls in all sports. So they deserve our congratulations, and we're waiting to see what they do next year. And I think that's all I have. With that, appreciate the ladies coming tonight. Hope to see you here some more. And with that, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for real estate.
So moved.
All in favor? We'll not be voting on anything coming out. We'll just be adjourning. Thank y'all for coming.
Yes. I told him the date for the splash meeting, and told him to get project list together, everything else. So I told him, yep, we're good. All right, so you and Doug and Jason.
No.
Since we talked about the
I'm surprised he hasn't submitted it with
I'm going to get the infection in my back.
Oh, okay.
that would be a change in what he was saying, but
Mr. English.
Still live.
And actually, the last communication was that email you saw where I basically
So this is everybody get one of these?
Yeah, right there.
decide where we're
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Jessica, I was.
Okay, okay.
Are we still live?
We are.
Right, so I will not be here Thursday unless something changes. I'm supposed to get that thing fixed.
You missed it.